Sunny California, mega corporations, big tech. What could possibly go wrong? Hello viewers, and today I'm going to be giving you a brief history lesson and an introduction to Night City in Cyberpunk 2077. Very quickly, before I get underway, it would be awesome if you were able to subscribe and like the video if you particularly enjoy this kind of content. Now, back to the topic at hand. The birth of Night City. It all began with one man's vision. Richard Knight dreamed of a city free from poverty, crime, and stifling regulations imposed by centralised governments. In addition, its city council would boast members of the largest corporations. Why? Well, if they could run companies generating billions of euro dollars, surely a city would be a no-brainer. A history of violence, 1990 to 2020. Between 1990 and 2020, the USA and the rest of the world are ravaged by 2 Central American wars, 3 corporate wars, and yes, an orbital war. No corner of the Earth is left untouched. With each conflict more violent than the last, the demand for cyberware skyrockets. If that wasn't enough, Mother Nature wages its own war. Humanity's brazen exploitation of the planet's resources leads to irreversible climate disaster. In return, it gets acid rain, sandstorms, desertification, and a plethora of drug-resistant pathogens, some natural, some bioengineered in corporate labs. The America we know ceases to exist. Democracy crumbles. One after another, American states secede and declare themselves free nations. An unprecedented financial crisis cripples the global financial markets. A thermonuclear war in the Middle East sends radioactive ash into the atmosphere, blanketing the entire globe in a toxic cloud of dust. And we're just getting warmed up. The Fourth Corporate War, 2020 to 2023. August 20th, 2023. A date drilled into the skull of every school kid. A nuclear device explodes in the heart of Night City, obliterating the Arasaka Towers, the Arasaka Corporation's North American headquarters. It's the final straw in the Fourth Corporate War between Arasaka and Militech. Thousands caught in the blast radius die instantly, tens of thousands more in the days following. The official death toll from radiation exposure is unknown. Around the same time, the legendary netrunner Rausch Bartmoss is killed, leaving a nasty surprise as his last will and testament. His death triggers the release of thousands of viruses and malware into cyberspace. Netwatch, the net security agency, is unable to contain the damage. The global stock exchange plummets, international trade grinds to a halt, and the World Wide Web becomes a treacherous no man's land. The aftermath, 2024 to 2035. The world pulls itself up by the bootstraps. Elizabeth Kress, President of the USA, declares nationwide martial law and nationalises Militech, allowing her to maintain some semblance of order. Meanwhile, Japan and Europe are too preoccupied with their own problems to pay attention to what's happening in the land of the free. Netwatch constructs the Black Wall, a firewall separating the open net from the rogue AIs that have proliferated through cyberspace in the wake of the Bartmoss attack. In exchange for security, the public abandons vast swathes of knowledge and information to the anarchy of code beyond the wall. Corporations begin to aggressively privatise previously owned farmland. Disenfranchised and with nowhere to go, people begin to band together in sprawling groups and clans. Mobile and in need of work, these clans eventually specialise in transport. Soon, they take over the trade routes between states. Decades of upheaval and displacement indirectly give rise to a new social class, the nomads. Reconstruction and unification, 2035 to 2070. American cities begin to rebuild. Night Corps offer free, full-body cyberware conversions to people willing to work in radioactive zones. To meet the needs of a newly booming population, dozens of megabuildings spring up from the rubble and debris. Under Netwatch's draconian oversight, cyberspace becomes even harder for netrunners to move unrestricted. With ever more complex structures hidden from public view, the World Wide Web becomes a thing of the past. Determined to once again reunite the free states under one flag, the newly elected Rosalind Myers ignites one last war with the help of Militech, the so-called Unification War. Only Texas and Northern California, led by Night City, hold out. City Councillor Lucius Rhine strikes a deal with Arasaka. Soon enough, a gargantuan aircraft carrier enters Colorado Bay. The Myers-led NUSA, New United States of America, decides to back down. Recent years, 2070 to 2077. The warring states, with the exception of Texas, sign a unification treaty ending the war. Night City becomes a free city, independent of the NUSA. Lucius Rhine, Night City's new mayor, grants a seat on the city council to Arasaka. For the first time since 2023, the Japanese Zaibatsu is greeted in Night City with open arms. It quickly begins rebuilding its headquarters in Corporate Plaza, on the very site where the Arasaka Towers once proudly stood. Once again, Night City bathes in the free flow of capital, the rich in their jacuzzis, the poor in cramped, filthy showers. Thank you very much for listening to this introduction to Night City in Cyberpunk 2077. If you would like to hear more about the city, leave a comment down below or leave a like so that I have a good idea. And finally, subscribe if you would like to see more from me. Thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you in the next one.